Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Fisher, and I am in Team 11 for this term of BAAS 2030. This is part F of our survey project. These are my team members here on the left, and if you can't tell from our first slide here, our survey project is all about gambling. We started off talking about gambling at a very high level, talking about everything from playing the state lottery to betting with friends on sports to online gambling and brick and mortar casinos. Gambling is becoming increasingly more accessible, especially with the advent of online gambling and the popularity of online gambling. And thus, more people are being negatively affected by gambling and gambling addiction. Specifically with online gambling, advancements in technology have made it much more convenient to place bets and for these companies to take your money and make money from you from the comfort of your own home. Especially in the COVID lockdown era of early 2020, when all of the other entertainment sectors were forced to shut their doors and cancel events, including brick and mortar casinos, online gambling was allowed to continue, and it in fact very much thrived during this time because people were locked down at home and needed something to do, and were able to engage in online gambling. There's no conclusive evidence that internet gambling is more dangerous than in-person gambling, but listed here, there are a lot of factors that could make it potentially harmful and addictive. We kind of laser focused in on this because of the surge in popularity that it's gotten. And we wanted to see if there was any connection between online gambling and gender and income levels. So our initial hypothesis was males whose income is $50,000 or less are more likely to have issues with online gambling than other genders in higher income brackets. As you can see, this mistakenly includes two independent variables, gender and income. This was corrected by the instructor to quote, males are more likely to believe they have an issue with online gambling than other genders. So that we could test for that single variable of gender. The belief statement that made it onto the survey was, quote, I believe that I have a problem with online gambling. We decided to use a quantitative approach to test this hypothesis. A survey seemed like the simplest way of doing that, and our respondents answered this belief statement using a Likert scale. Here are our results. In total, 46 people responded to our survey. 24 of those were male. Out of those 24 males, 20 of them said that they strongly disagree. 2 said somewhat disagree. 1 was neutral, 1 somewhat agreed, and nobody strongly agreed. Based on the data that we got, we cannot prove or disprove our hypothesis. We may have been on the right track since 80% of the people who said anything other than strongly disagree were male, but we would need quite a bit more data to prove or disprove our hypothesis. Here is how our numbers and results broke out in percentages. The reason we got these results may be because of the way that the survey question, the belief statement, was phrased. We asked people in this class to come straight out and admit that they have an addiction, period. Whether that is with online gambling, whether that's alcohol or drugs or any other substance or activity that people do that is addictive. There is a lot of stigma and guilt and shame and denial wrapped up all in that. And all of those things would make something like online gambling addiction something that people would not want to or don't think that they need to report in a survey. Some ideas for future research would be to see if this was more prevalent in different demographics, age groups, income or education levels, and see if that data ties back in or we can find any trend with the data from this study. Another possible direction to take would be to further explore the crossover between internet gaming and gambling and see if there are any common threads between those two fields that would link them. We could also totally drop the gambling. Since the topic is associated with so many stigmas, we could look at online gaming in and of itself. That's an activity that I am confident in saying can be addictive, and it does not have the same stigma around it that gambling or some of the other addictive behaviors do. People may be more apt to be honest and open about that behavior. So our conclusions and our takeaways, we need to craft our hypothesis and questions more carefully. As I said before, our hypothesis had issues at the beginning of the project, and we had to change it kind of midway through the project, and that put us in a odd position where our questions that we worked so hard to write did not fit our hypothesis anymore, and we didn't get all the questions that we wanted to get on the survey because of that. And that put us in a weird position. That also leads to the next point of sometimes you just don't get the answers that you're looking for. I think that in the real world of market research and surveys, that sometimes no matter how much work you put in and how that you check all the boxes, you still don't get the results and the answers that you want. And you've got to go back to the drawing board, and you've got to do more studies and more research and more literature review and find a way to get to the answers that you're looking for. Less judgmental questions. I think that coming at the issue from a more with a more subtle approach would go a long way to getting more usable data and more honest answers from our respondents. Check in with instructors and experts earlier in the process to make sure we're on the right track and asking the right questions. Check in with the experts. I think that if I'm going to do a study on online gambling, then I'm going to go to experts in online gambling and psychologists and addiction counselors and specialists in this area to ask, what are the warning signs of this? What are the negative effects of these behaviors? What kind of questions should I be asking to really reach these people and get information from them? And then this last one, we've already talked about that, but make sure that we're testing for only one independent variable at a time. Here are all of our references. If you have any questions or comments about our project or our presentation, please reach out, and we thank you very much for watching.